Hi, good evening to everyone. I welcome you to this interesting webinar, which entitled Leveraging Fabric Digitization and 3D Material Creation to Drive Business Growth from Frontier.cool, Taiwan-based organization. Frontier.cool provides the world's first AI-powered fabric digitization platform, helping suppliers, manufacturers, and designers to digitize their fabric at scale. We save our client, consumers time and money throughout the fabric digitization journey. Friends, why we need this digitization platform for generating your digital fabric data? Because we have several challenges in the textile and the fashion industry. If you look into the global textile and apparel industry undergoing a challenging period with several structural changes have led to a new business environment that the global textile industry need to adapt to and still do. If you look into the challenges faced by fashion industry, these challenges pertain to the logistic and social media, marketing, the changing behavior of the consumers. And most importantly, if you see the challenges facing sourcing executive today, the shipping disruption, harbor shutdown, the port congestions, container shortage, and the capacity issue have all contributed to delay. And this is one of the reasons why we have to work on this issue. If you look into the fashion retail industry, the challenges are talent deficit, sustainability gap, unnecessary textile waste, changing desires, supply chain bottlenecks, spiraling returns, rising districts, diversity and inclusion, size and fit. Now, to get the solution to this problem and these challenges, today we have our eminent speaker, Ms. Anoushka, who is a fashion designer, luxury brand expert, digital product creation enthusiast, passionate about product, people, and the planet, with an educational background in the business and the fashion. Anoushka has worked in the luxury good industry for over 12 years. Equipped with bachelor in fashion from NIFT and masters in fashion from University in Creative Arts, UK, Anoushka has worked with client inclusion, including Neeta Ambani and Bollywood actress Katrina Kaif, Bipasha Basu, Preeti Zinta. Anoushka has also designed the costumes for Bollywood film, including Ek Tha Tiger, Mere Badar Ki Dulan, Ajab Gajab Love, De Dhanadhan, to name a few. Anoushka is a head of business and brand partnership at the state California and working for Frontier.cool Taiwan. The dais is yours, Anoushka, now. Thank you. Friends, I request you to mute your voice and audio also throughout the discussion. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I hope you all can hear and see me clearly. And before we get started, I would love to kind of ask my colleague Tammy to play an introductory video. Tammy, could you please go ahead and play that? Thank you. everyone. I hope you enjoyed that video, and please give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear and see me clearly. And I'm going to kind of get started with this whole introduction to digitization. Throughout the entire session, it would be great to know how many of you have digitized fabrics before. Is this your first introductory session into fabric digitization? I would just love to kind of have an interactive session, yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay, awesome. So before we get started, I would just like to do a brief little intro of myself. So I'm Anoushka, Head of Business and Brand Partnerships based out of San Francisco, California. We are so glad that you could all join us today, and we're excited to tell you all about Frontier.cool solution for 3D material digitization. I want to kind of give a special thank you to Dr. Vijay Gotmare and the entire Textile Association of India for this amazing opportunity to connect with this wonderful audience so that we can basically talk about a whole new way of doing business and the amazing benefits of fabric digitization. Like I mentioned before, if you have any questions during the session, please drop your questions in the chat box, and my colleagues Tammy and Michelle will collect them and address them at the end of the session. So let's get started. Here's a little bit about who we are and what we do at Frontier. We are a group of passionate enthusiasts looking to disrupt the fashion space with the help of AI and machine learning. We help our clients digitize their materials and create 3D-ready fabrics with physical properties, sustainability impact, and other metadata transforming the way they design, produce, and collaborate, thereby achieving faster time to market, accelerating innovation, reducing the need for physical samples, and shortening the time to make those critical design decisions. So we are currently headquartered in Taiwan, which, like India, has a huge advantage when it comes to the textile industry. We are a formidable and indispensable textile hub to internationally renowned brands such as Adidas, Nike, Gap, etc. We currently have operations all over the world, including the US, where I'm currently based, Europe, India, China, Taiwan, Vietnam, and Indonesia. We are trusted by world-renowned brands, like I mentioned, Adidas, Under Armour are a few of our clients, and we have currently 33 brands, 150 T1, T2, and T3 suppliers, 15 fashion circularity consultancies, and 25 designers and 3D technical designers on board our cloud-based AI platform. So these are some of the world-famous suppliers and brands that we're currently working with. I'm sure that as y'all are part of the industry and closely associated with the Textile Association of India, y'all somewhere must be kind of connected to the industry, be it a brand or a supplier or a designer. And y'all must have heard of these brands such as Everest, JND, Adidas, Nike, Under Armour. Yeah, so I'm excited to kind of do a deep dive into how exactly we're helping these companies. So ever since the pandemic in 2020, we all know that our lives have been turned upside down, not just our personal lives, but also our businesses and our professional lives. And it's kind of been amazing to witness the rapid implementation of digitization within fashion companies who were until now working through a very traditional old model, right? So McKinsey and Company in their State of Fashion Technology Report 2022, which is last year, basically pointed out that those companies that embrace and embed AI into their business models could see an up to 118% cumulative increase in cash flow by 2030. And those who are slower to invest in digital technology will lag behind and decline probably by 23%. Now, digital workflow should not just be seen as another investment or expense, but more like a future equity or investment in mitigating costs, increasing efficiency, staying abreast with industry standards, productivity and sustainability. So why exactly is material digitization important? So we asked our community of suppliers, brands, and designers questions such as, what percentage of your material collection is done with 3D? How are you currently digitizing your materials? Have you digitized today? And if not, what is stopping you or your company from adopting a more widespread digital workflow? And overwhelmingly, these are the responses that we received. The challenges that our friends in the textile industry are overwhelmingly facing include the current method of physical sampling is just way too time consuming. Now, every time you want to send a sample, we know how costly a courier fee is. There are clients always rushing your deliveries. We've also basically seen a slowdown in orders and order reduction due to the economic downturn. So how do you increase your client portfolio and the people who are your customers, right? So all these problems can be solved by digitizing your physical samples and uploading them in a virtual format onto a digital library. And these are not just photographs, these are commercial data, very, very rich with parameters like texture maps, physical properties, but also MOQ, pricing, inventory, so on and so forth. So how does Frontier's solution really, really help suppliers and brands do business better? Okay, so number one, because we enable a single true digital material to be the exact match of a physical fabric, we can foster seamless collaboration into end-to-end digital workflow. As you know, a lot of us have started working remote from home, or we tend to go to the office maybe 3 times a week. So once the fabrics are digitized with the physical properties and the texture maps, it will give access to a single true digital fabric that you can access remotely from any part of the world, enabling very, very easy collaboration between team members or stakeholders. Now, digitization at source, basically, if you paid attention to the video, you would have seen we're following a very, very simple 3-step process. Number one, you take your physical sample. Number two, you scan it in an office flatbed scanner. And number three, it gets uploaded to the cloud and we generate the 3D material. And then it goes to your library, right? So this basically enables anyone with the internet and a flatbed scanner to digitize their materials at a location convenient to them without the need of a complicated skill set, because we are all used to scanning our documents in the flatbed scanner. So we are all familiar with that process, and all while protecting your valuable intellectual property. So this process of digitizing your materials and building it in an online digital library facilitates proactivity over reactivity. So when you have these supply chain disruptions like COVID, geopolitical challenges, or general economic downturns, it doesn't really need to impact your go-to-market speed, because the virtual materials actually enable your clients to start the design process without ever having the physical fabric to start off with. So they can still go ahead even if they have not received the physical sample yet, right? And I would say this is definitely the highest value prop that I see in our solutions. It is the rapid digitization, which results in a 90% reduction in time compared to other solutions. So compared to our other competitors that take 1 to 1.5 hours to digitize a single material, our AI solution can do it within 3 to 5 minutes. So that's amazing. You can basically periodically build your digital library. So say, for example, week 1, you start with 10 fabrics, you familiarize yourself with the process. Week 2, you've moved to 50, and by the end of the month, you can go to 100, so on and so forth. And very rapidly, you would have an entire digital library of your materials, your inventory, with all the data-rich information for your clients, so that they can just go to your online digital library and pick out the fabrics that they're interested in. Okay, So where exactly are you saving if you implement digitization? Okay, our users have reported these efficiency metrics, okay, a whopping 83% reduction in physical samples and environmental impact. Their business opportunities have increased by 50%. That's huge. We all want to kind of have more business and more clients, so that's amazing. And the speed in sharing resources, which is collaboration with your internal and external team members, were 10x in terms of speed. So amazing feedback from our clients. I want to kind of explain a little bit more about our AI-enhanced digitization, which makes the entire digitization process of building a digital library super easy, affordable, and scalable. Okay, so this is my favorite slide of the deck. I always love kind of explaining what the process is because everybody thinks AI is super complicated, and we've just tried to kind of democratize it and make it as simple for everybody. So our clients love our 3-step easy process that you can take your 2D material into 3D. Okay, so all our user would have to do. I'm sorry, I think we need to mute somebody because I'm getting an echo, but yeah, I'm going to continue. So, okay, so step 1, you basically take your physical swatch. Step 2, you put it in your office standard scanner, which you use to scan documents. You just set the DPI to 600 and you're good to go. And then our powerful AI and ML will create the 3D material with the fabric specs, the AI-generated metadata, the physical properties such as drape, bend, linearity, basically how the fabric would behave on a 3D object, as well as the environmental impact measurements, because we know that sustainability is a core value for Gen Z and millennial customers, and all brands are super conscious about that. And you, in addition, will get a U3M or a GLTF file, which is compatible with most 3D softwares like Clo and Browseware, which enables you to move from the digital fabric to the digital garment. So now your entire digital product creation process is available for you to do in real time, right? And our solution is also easily integrated within PLM systems and ERP systems. Okay, so moving on, you know, we've had a lot of people ask us, oh, but you know, physical fabric and design is all about the tactility, the physical touch. How do we replace physical with the virtual? Okay, and I think this is like a brilliant example for suppliers to share with their brands or their clients and stakeholders exactly what is happening with the AI. So if you see the left-hand side, it is the actual fabric on a cylinder, right? Whereas the right-hand side is the Frontier AI. So you will see that the folds and the drapes over here are pretty much very similar. And a designer at this point of time can gauge by the drape and the fall exactly how the fabric would kind of behave in reality, right? And then you obviously have the parameters of the comparison between the physical and Frontier's AI, etc. And this always is a very, very valuable tool to basically see how the fabric would kind of behave in real life. And as I mentioned, we have a seamless integration through a plugin with Browseware and Clo, which are the leading 3D CAD software. So you can just take the digital material, plug it into Clo or Browseware, and go ahead and design your garment. Okay, so just to recap a little, the suppliers basically can scan their fabrics and build their library in-house with a simple office scanner, and you can digitize this all by yourself and basically share it with your brands or your clients. And this process is scalable. The data is completely owned by you. It's easily deployable. You don't require any special hardware. Remember, all you need is an office scanner. And no special skill set required, because we all know how to scan documents. So you can scan your fabric very, very easily. Okay, coming to the eco-impactor and sustainability. Okay, as I mentioned, sustainability is a critical element in consumers' buying decisions nowadays. And we want to deliver this data to our users so it can be factored into the design process early on. So say, for example, I have been a passionate designer for the last 12 years, worked in the Bollywood industry, worked in London, now I'm in the US. And, whenever I had to make these fabric choices, I used to always think, okay, which fabric is more sustainable than the other? And now with Frontier's technology, you can actually, as a designer, choose the most sustainable fabric. So that's amazing, because an in-reverse study that we analyzed from 2022 said that 92% of today's consumer market expects sustainability to be a core brand value. So if your customers are super passionate about climate change, sustainability, this is like a must-have, right? Because everybody wants to know the garment traceability, the sustainable aspect, etc., and that's what Frontier can provide. So through the partnership with Made to Flow, we are able to show greenhouse gas emission, water use, as well as land use for every GSM of material on Frontier, allowing greater transparency and faster decision-making around carbon reduction. Our eco-impactor results are certified by Qantas, which is a leading international certification body based in Switzerland, driving sustainable transformation. So as you can see over here, any fabric that you would upload onto Frontier's platform would give you all the parameters and the greenhouse gases, water depletion, land use, and you'd know exactly how you're consuming, and you do the entire design process very, very responsibly right from the start. Dr. Pradnya is saying it's amazing technology. Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate your kind comments. Okay, can everybody see the screen and hear the audio all right?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead. Okay, so fabric digitization, I think we can move to the next slide. Okay, so fabric digitization is in very simple form. It is not taking photographs. It is not like Photoshop, but it is a process which is comprehensive, informative, and very, very reliable. So if you can move to the next slide, Tammy, I'm just going to tell you all very briefly. Again, all you need is an office flatbed scanner. Please do not let new technology scare you or make you feel uncomfortable. It is very simple once you understand the basics of how it works. Okay, so if we move on to the next slide, I will just kind of tell you all in a very, very high overview what digital transformation in the fashion industry is used for. So digital workflows are rapidly growing, and the growing demand for digital product creation has led to an increased need for collaboration between brands and suppliers. Many global brands are new to digitization and may not able to meet a brand's needs in terms of quality, speed, and scale. Now, we at Frontier are here to bridge that gap between brands and suppliers so that you can basically connect with the best clients out there. And we're going to make it super easy for textile manufacturers, mills, suppliers, and fashion brands to navigate, become more proficient, and excel in this new paradigm of digital product creation. In addition to our technology solution, we provide comprehensive customer support to guide you through the challenges of the digital transformation process. Okay, so moving on, I think what I would really like to kind of focus on the next slide is the reasons why fashion is adopting digital workflows, right? So as I was saying earlier, the main goal is for us to act sustainably. We want to kind of reduce our shipping, we want to reduce our sampling waste, and we want to promote effective and lean workflow, right? Now, we do know customers' demands with social media are more available in real time, and thus we have to quickly respond and give them the deliveries that they're expecting. This technology also enables us to approve designs and samples at a higher speed, increasing agility in the supply chain. And the best part of all is global collaboration, right? Since the pandemic, we know how easy it is for us to work remotely, but collaboration tools are required for that. And it basically helps us decrease decision making and promote creativity and experimentation for brands and designers because when they have the digital material, they can basically create any product in a digital format, and the possibilities are really endless. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. I think it would be helpful to just talk a little bit about what is a digital material, right? So digital materials are the foundation of every digital product creation process. Digital materials are made of image scale texture maps and physical properties. Digital materials can also include other information such as price, stock, inventory, etc. Right? So in layman's terms, this is the way that I understand it best, right? When you basically see what a fabric will actually look like on a body or a 3D object, how it will drape, how many folds it will have. Designers have to very often visualize this, but here we're giving you an exact visual plus the physical properties, so there's no second guessing. You have all the information and you can make data-driven decisions. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. And I think we're quickly going to see over here that on a 3D viewer, a checked material like this can drape very easily. You get a 360 view of what the fabric will actually look like. So the designers don't have to second guess any longer. Even before they ever get this checked material in their hands, they have the fabric, all the specifications, the texture map, and the physical properties to basically make their design decision and move forward. Okay, so moving on, we are going to talk about, this is, it's actually really good that we're playing this video again. We played this at the start in case any of you have missed it. So step number 1, you take your fabric and you use the office scanner. You basically upload it to the cloud, which is our AI technology cloud-based platform. And we will convert it to a 3D material with the data, the fall, the physical properties, the texture maps, everything. And this will get stored in your digital library that you can share with your stakeholders at a click of a button with Eco-Impactor and all the information to manage and digitize your fabrics at scale. Okay. We also have amazing collaboration tools. Just think about it as collaborating with multiple brands and suppliers in one platform where you can easily share fabrics, your ideas, the kind of materials you're trying to source, all with sustainability top of mind and compliancy with industry standards. You're basically using this technology to supercharge your business and really move confidently into the future and not get left behind in this fast-moving, digital kind of pace of technology that your competitors are probably working with brands internationally on. Okay, so moving on, I'm just kind of going to recap what we saw in the video. So obviously, you'd use the scanner, you'd have your digital materials, you have the AI-generated physical data and metadata. You now have a 4D ready material, which you can basically design any garment of your choice with. Float it on social media, get feedback from your customers in real time, and then move on to on-demand manufacturing. So no more overconsumption and oversupply, everything in real time with customer-driven information, and you basically produce as per the demand, right? So that's amazing. No extra cost of marketing, production, etc. Okay, moving on. We are going to talk about how do we start? Okay, we want to kind of make it as simple for you all to be excited to try this technology. So I just want to kind of make it as easy for you to understand what exactly are we doing here. Okay, so as you know, I worked in India for a very long time. I worked with Rocky S, the designer in the start, and then moved on to work with Yashraj Films, where I did a lot of design from scratch, right? So I would go source the material, come up with the collection, make the collection, and it would be a very long process. Okay, so a traditional product creation process takes anywhere between 3 to 6 months. And that's basically being very positive about it, right? So material sourcing is basically the starting point. And then you have your inspiration, fabric sampling, garment sampling, and production. We're looking at a go-to-market kind of timeline of 3, 6, or 9 months. So we know in the traditional kind of spring, summer, autumn, winter cycles, you have to start at least 6 months ahead. Okay. However, if we move on to the next slide, we will see in the digital product creation process, you can shorten this entire cycle and go to market super quickly if you adopt this very, very easy technology. So now that you have fabrics, which are digital materials, you can basically source in real time virtually very, very quickly and bring your sourcing and conception period down to 3 days. And then with the 3D CAD software, which basically uses the 3D material, you can design any garment, like you can see these jackets over here in real time, and further shorten your period. And then you have like even the opportunity to get feedback from your customers and then go into production. So as opposed to the traditional 3 to 6 months. I'm sorry, can somebody mute the participants' audio? Thank you. So as compared to the traditional 3 to 6 months, you can literally kind of really, really bring down your entire design process time to 3 days when it comes to sourcing, and maybe another 3 days when it comes to digital design software. Okay, so moving on, I'd love to talk a little bit about one of our clients who is currently based in Hong Kong. Could you move on to the next slide? Okay, so this is about an on-demand smart company in Hong Kong called Haining. And this is the speed on demand production process that they're using. Okay, so we've seen now that I'm based in the US, things move very, very quickly over there. There's a store in New York called Supreme that literally drops a new collection every week. So they have new merchandise come to the store, they let their customers know on social media, and then they come and shop. So as opposed to the traditional models of 6 to 8 collections per year, we're now looking at a drop every 1 week. So how does the textile industry kind of respond to this in a responsible manner? Okay, so number one, you have your digital library because you've digitized all your materials and created virtual materials, and now you have a very pretty library with your entire inventory and bestsellers, right? Your designer can basically pick out the fabric from there, create a digital product, enter it into the digital supply network, and the smart factory will test, react, replenish, and make on demand. And then the fulfillment happens either direct to store or direct to the end customer. So if we move on to the next slide, I want you all to know that this is not future thinking. This is actually happening right now with companies like Haining, who basically fulfill orders for PVH and Tommy Hilfiger on a weekly basis. And the final product is being shipped to stores or the consumer within 7 to 10 days. So please have a little think about where we are in the traditional model, anywhere between 3, 6 to 9 months. And here, virtual materials is equipping companies like Haining to produce a weekly drop for their customers, okay? All while being responsible and only manufacturing on demand, okay? Moving on to the next slide, we are going to basically just tell you how Frontier works in both the offline and online forum. And we've been extremely successful in markets like Taiwan, Vietnam, and Indonesia. And we actually had a very interesting textile export promotion project. And this is actually really helpful for any of you suppliers or brands who kind of very frequently go to exhibit at those textile events. Okay, I recently went to one in Atlanta, Georgia, and basically saw this entire system work in person. So I'm excited to share it with you. It's super amazing and very easy. So we'll just move on to the next slide. I'll explain to you exactly what happens here. So that's Tammy, my colleague, basically, who's handling everything offline, but here she is in Vietnam, and she's helping the clients at the booth with the fabric. So as you can see, all the fabric here are clearly laid out, and the client over here is simply taking their smartphone. It can be a Samsung or an iPhone. It works on everything, and basically just scanning the QR code, okay? How many of us have gone to all these exhibitions, love the fabrics over there, and then by the time you go home, you've forgotten all about it, and there's no record? But this way, You just have to scan the QR code with your iPhone or your smartphone, and everything will be neatly documented for you in a digital library with the 3D materials and all the information like the physical properties, drape, shear, linearity, pricing, commercial data, everything. So you don't have to kind of bother taking a pen and pencil, writing down model and style numbers, nothing. Just take your phone and scan the QR code. So this is really, really good for any of you suppliers out there who want to exhibit at expos and textile events. We can definitely kind of implement a system which is very easy, and you will really see a huge increase in your business because now your clients have the data to basically make their choices. Okay, so moving on. Basically, because this entire process is digitized, it's very easy to have an after-event analysis and basically see who was the most effective supplier, which was the most effective kind of fabric mill, because the clients kind of like downloads are, everything is data driven and all the information is backed by data. So it's very easy to see what is the results after the event itself. Okay. So moving on, I think we have another 15 minutes before the Q&A session starts. And I think I've covered a lot about what Frontier is and what we do and how easy we can make it for you suppliers and brands. But here is something which is really special to us. This is what our clients are saying about us, and I'd love to share it with you. So, okay, moving on, I think we have like the first example is with an amazing supplier that we're working with called Everest in Taiwan. And they basically supply to the best brands in the world: Adidas, Nike, New Balance, Patagonia, Puma, Gap. Okay, so they first implemented Frontier's Textile Cloud, which is basically our AI cloud platform, in August 2021. And they've had amazing results. They've digitized over 2,000 pieces of their best-selling fabrics. They have over 100 accounts collaborating across 4 continents with internal and external users. They've saved 60% in physical sampling, time, effort, resources. They have access to real-time environmental impact management. And the best part about this is that it was easily integrated into their existing workflow. So no matter what kind of workflow you currently have, because we've made it so easy, it fits in very easily, and adoption is not a problem at all. So if you're thinking that it might be very tough to basically implement this in your company, let me reassure you, all you need to do is start scanning your physical fabrics, and that's pretty much the entire process. Okay. Okay, moving on, I think we have a fantastic example with JND International. I do know that a lot of us in the Indian textile industry are also familiar with JND. They are currently working with Athleta, which is a Gap brand, and Helly Hansen, which is a leading European brand when it comes to outerwear. Now, we integrated an ERP system. They integrated an ERP system with Textile Cloud with our open API, which makes it super smooth for internal streaming of information. Now, their digital library and collection has been viewed by their clients more than 5,000 times by global brands from various countries, including UK, US, and Germany. I think this point is critical for the Indian market because, as you know, I work in the Indian industry, and I am very proud to be from India, such a rich country when it comes to textiles. But I don't feel like we are very easily findable by clients in the US or the UK or Germany, and a digital library and an online collection will just solve that problem so easily. And your clients in the US or California, wherever they are, will just have to access your online library and choose their collection without having to travel to India, get a translator, choose their collections, etc. You know, we're just trying to make it very, very easy to sell to clients within India, but also abroad. And basically, they use the digital fabric and 3D samples to communicate with brands during the sourcing phase. Information synchronizes both internally and externally, and this basically broadens the product showroom without any restrictions when it comes to time zone and regional limits. So your clients can log on from any part of the world at any time and basically have access to your entire collection. Okay, moving on. this is a very, very exciting moment for us, because we are now the official digital partner with both Adidas and Under Armour, who have nominated us as their 3D digitization partner. So this is very, very exciting. And I think it's just amazing that brands like Adidas and Under Armour trust the results that Frontier provides and trust us to bridge that gap between their expectations and what they want their suppliers to adhere to. So this is fantastic. And we're happy to share that with you. And moving on, we basically want to kind of share a very interesting testimonial with you. So like I mentioned, I'm now living in San Francisco, California, and SwissTex Direct is a California-based knit company. And they basically work with Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, New Balance, and they've been working in the industry for a very long time. However, now that their suppliers expect them to have a digital workflow, it's kind of been challenging for them to meet the high standards for the clients, okay? But this has been their testimonial after using our product and our platform. They basically say it's easy for anyone with basic computer skills to create a high quality virtual material from anywhere. It's reliable because it provides effective advice on problems encountered in the process of working with brands. And expansion, they continue to expand the amount of digital materials they have in their library so that they make it more and more attractive for their clients, no matter whether they are based in Asia, in Europe, or in the US, right? Because everybody has different choices. So this enables them to have a wide variety and collection for their clients internationally to choose from. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Here's what they have to say. SwissTex basically says for every new textile we create, there will be a digital counterpart, and Frontier will be a key part of this. As the digital world continues to expand into our industry, it becomes increasingly important to provide virtual material solutions to our clients. Everest says that they have a much larger pipeline of digital materials, so it's possible to integrate into the digital product creation space with more brands inside their company. Adidas says that Frontier.cool's team has demonstrated their great capability in providing qualified digital material that fits Adidas's standard. That's amazing. Okay, moving on. Okay, so I'd love to kind of talk to you a little bit about our pricing and packages. So as I mentioned earlier, ours is a subscription-based model for our AI. And it's cloud-based, so that as soon as you basically upload anything, just think about it like Google Docs or any cloud-based platform where it's saved on the cloud. So you don't have to do anything after you actually upload the asset. We take care of everything from that point onwards, okay? So now if you wanted to get started and you're a small or medium business, either on the brand side or on the supplier side, you can have an annual subscription for starting at as low as 1,200. And this is obviously a range that we're providing. We're new in India, so we would love to kind of learn about your pain points and your processes. And it's approximately 98,000 rupees when you convert 1,200, right? So this would enable small and medium businesses to get an annual subscription for up to 3 users. And then we have our add-ons in case you want to add more users, etc. Moving on to the next one, which is for large enterprises, it's about 16,000 per year. And the third package that we have is for individual designers. And this is 360 per year, approximately 30,000 INR. So we just want to kind of make this accessible for as many people as possible. In addition to the subscription model where you can just use the AI and a flatbed scanner, we also have digitization as a service. Okay, so we do understand that different brands have different kind of requirements, and for brands that basically just want us to outsource the digitization, we can take care of it completely. All you would need to do is send us your material. However, I do think that most of the clients that I've spoken to in India love the subscription model and the AI technology. They would just like to kind of digitize with the scanner at their office. Okay, so in case you do want to go for digitization as a service, just provide us the material and we will provide you high quality texture maps, physical properties, a validation report, so on and so forth. Okay, so we're pretty much at the 1 hour mark, and I hope that you all have absorbed a lot of this information. I just wanted to again thank the Textile Association of India, Dr. Vijay Gotmare, and the entire association for facilitating this experience. And because you all have attended via TAI and we have such a great partnership with them, we usually only offer a 7-day trial. But for the attendees today, we want to offer you all a 30-day pilot completely free. So please go ahead and scan this QR code and sign up for the free trial. It's absolutely free for 30 days. You're not going to be charged anything. We just want you to basically try out the technology, try building your digital library. And in case you have any questions, I'm sharing my email address so you can contact me, and I'm happy to schedule a demo. But now I think we would love to kind of open up the session to questions. Love to hear your questions, and maybe Tammy who has collected all the questions throughout the session, can share what some of our attendees would like to know.
Anoushka, one of the attendees would like to know the commercial again. So he just put us question in the chat. Can you show commercial again? So just display possible. Yeah, yes. Yeah, you can show
the commercial is
small
the
and
pricing.
medium. So Mr. Deepak, I think you are watching this now. You just put a question in your chat box that you would like to see the commercials again. So just here is for your Mr. Deepak. Yeah. I think he's already there in the chat box. So you can
great.
Move from small, medium to say high area, and the designers. Yeah, I hope he would have satisfied it.
Okay.
When you want to see it. Yeah.
Okay, sure,
Mr.
Deepak.
You can put your question also. Yeah, you would like to see this.
Yeah, I am sending you all my email address. So in case you all have any questions, you can just directly email me.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Rahul wants to know how we collect or use sustainability data. Okay, Rahul, like we mentioned earlier, we are basically using Quantus to basically certify these results. And this data has been collected by our, all the questions are here. Okay, the data has been kind of collected by Made to Flow, the company that we work with in Germany, and they provide us all the sustainability impact parameters. I hope that answers your question. But if not, if you would need a more detailed answer, please reach out to me on email. Okay, Vanya. Vanya wants to know, can AI generate digital fabrics accurately enough compared to physical fabrics? Hi, Vanya, thank you so much for that question. We have basically shown you our validation report, which is exactly what we show over there is the physical fabric on the cylinder versus Frontier's AI to exactly show you the difference between the two. So as you can visually see that the AI is very accurate, and it will give you very, very accurate physical properties such as drape, shear, linearity, bend, so that you can basically make the decision without even having the physical fabric in hand. I hope that answers your question. I see Mr. Vilas here has a question. Mr. Vilas, could you please drop it in the chat and Tammy will read that out to me. Okay. Chaitanya basically wants to know, have you ever tried making fabric catalog physical print for pull-in? Okay, pull-in, I'm not sure whether you mean, so your question is, have you ever tried making fabric catalog physical print for presentation? Okay, so if you're basically asking if we have experience basically creating a fabric catalog, yes, the answer is you can very quickly build up a fabric catalog or a digital library through the 3-step process that I shared with you. You simply upload your physical sample, the AI will do its work, get the physical properties, and then you have a very neat presentation of not just the fabric information and the physical properties and texture maps, you also have all the commercial data, including pricing, MOQ, inventory, etc. Okay, Mr. Vasant wants to know if it is possible to check the type of weave during scanning. Yes, sir. The weave can be recognized by our AI. Very often what happens is the weave is something that the AI will easily recognize because it has scanned it before. So it is a part of reinforced learning where the AI will recognize the weave and generate the result. Okay, Musa wants to know the digital model allows a supplier to keep up with fast fashion, but how does it deal with sustainability issues caused by fast fashion? Okay, Musa, that is a very, very interesting question. And, you know, as Dr. Vijay basically explained, when it comes to my background, because I've been a designer for 15 years, you know, this has always been a question that's been back of my mind. As we all know, fashion is one of the largest contributors to climate change and is also very unsustainable. So I would really say that because you have the information to easily compare which fabric is more sustainable than the other right at the start, right? Like say, for example, I wanted to make a cotton dress like this. And there were 2 options where I can clearly see the greenhouse gas emission, land use, and water use is considerably lesser for one fabric over the other. As a designer, it makes it very easy for me to choose fabric A over fabric B, depending on that data, right? Versus say, for example, if I was physically sourcing in Bombay for different fabrics, that information would not be available for me. So I would just purely choose a fabric based on aesthetics. I hope that answers your question, Musa. If not, please drop me an email. Mr. Vilas. Okay, it is observed that some of the colors appear different in tone when digitized. Can you please clarify how this is managed with your technology? Sure, Mr. Vilas, this is a very, very good question. We've kind of got it multiple times from our clients. So to answer your question, we do provide the Pantone shade color. So in case you have any doubt in terms of whether the color is going to match or not, simply just refer to a Pantone shade card along with the shade that is being displayed on the Frontier platform and make sure that the color is the same. The color tends to kind of change because of different digital kind of platforms, right? So if you see it on your iPad versus your phone versus your laptop, you'll always get a different color, but we will show the Pantone shade. So it's very easy to kind of cross-check with your Pantone shade card and make sure that it's the exact color that you're looking for if you're going for dyeing or any other process like that. Okay, Mr. Deepak, we answered your question with the commercial price, and Mr. Rahul has a similar question. Shorefil has a question. Okay. Thanks for the nice presentation and explanation. We understand all the flat surface fabric can be easily created by a normal scanner, but what other solutions for fur surface fabric are you recommending scanning in a flatbed scanner? Okay, Shorefil, this is a very interesting question. As you know, fur has a very heavy texture to it. We are currently working to enhance our AI model every day. So with reinforced learning, so it can recognize even more complex fabrics. If you want a detailed explanation about fur in particular, if that is what you're trading in, please reach out to me on email and I can help clarify. Okay, Sakshi has a question that says, how important is it for a vendor or a supplier to have a digital product creation workflow in place before being considered as a good partner for a brand? Okay, Sakshi, I love this question because I work with a lot of suppliers in the US and, you know, because the suppliers are a bit reluctant when it comes to the entire digitization process, simply because they are unaware and not too well informed about it. I would say Digitization as a concept may be new to you and me, but brands like Nike and Adidas have actually been digitizing for over 10 years. So 10 to 15 years, which means that digitization has been adopted within the industry a long time ago already. And we're actually quite behind when it comes to digitization. I think that when the pandemic happened, a lot of people were really looking for different ways to collaborate and work remotely and through the internet. So that's why fabric digitization and digital product creation have become so popular and like buzzwords in the last couple of years within the industry. But I would have to say that a lot of brands are now mandating that vendors and suppliers have a digital workflow and a digital product kind of creation process so that they can easily collaborate with them irrespective of where they are basically collaborating from. And once you have like a digital asset and a digital inventory and everything with traceability, it is very simple to basically imagine even overcoming very, very tough hurdles like disruptions to the supply chain that we faced during COVID, certain economic, geopolitical issues like the war, etc. We just kind of want to make it as simple and support the suppliers as much as possible so that they can basically have a very smooth transaction and relationship with their clients. Dr. Vijay, is there any other questions that you want to address? Dr. Vijay, can you hear me? Okay, I'm just going to continue. Tammy, do we have any other questions?
There is one question, Anoushka.
Okay.
As answered the Shri, I think that is required in data entry. A form or AI recognized is enough.
Okay, data entry. Okay, so we do have about 5 parameters which are very critical that you enter. They're pretty much the basic information about the fabric, such as GSM, composition, like is it cotton, polyester, those kind of questions. So very basic 5 questions are required and the AI will do the rest. So you just scan and the platform will basically prompt you to enter the data for these 5 mandatory fields. And once you do that, the AI will take care of the rest and basically get the physical properties, the texture maps. And obviously you can see it on the 3D viewer, on the ball or like a t-shirt so that you can basically visualize how it's going to drape on a body. Yeah. Any other questions, Dr. Vijay?
There is one more question from Dr. Pradnya. They say, what about the embroidery material or any other establishment on this fabric?
Okay, Dr. Pragnya, thank you for your kind comments during the presentation. We're so glad that you enjoyed it, and I hope that it was a good value add, and thank you for attending. Dr. Pragnya, so embroidery is something that we are definitely trying to support and, recognize, especially because embroidery is so much a part of our Indian culture and very, very popular within our industry. However, because ours works on an AI model, I think that the way that it will have to work is certain embroideries like kantha or, any of the traditional embroideries would have to kind of be reinforced in terms of we would have to scan a couple of embroidered materials so that the AI can start recognizing those embroideries, so on and so forth. So that's how we're currently building our database and our library. And I hope that answers your question. I would love to connect on email. I hope you have my email. I've dropped it in the chat box.
Anoushka, there's one more question from Mr. Rajji. They say, dear Anoushka, amazing deliberation by you regarding digitalization in the Fabric 4.0. I would like to know that what's the scenario of this is in India?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Dr. Vijay, who was that question from again?
From Mr. Raj Pandey. Yeah.
Okay, hi, Mr. Raj. Thank you so much for your question. Very interesting question. Dr. Vijay, if you can repeat it one more time, just so that I make sure I answer it correctly.
They say, I want to know that what's the scenario of this digitalization technique in India as we are at Fabric 2.0 and 3.0.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for your question. Very interesting question, and I will give you an answer which is actually quite relatable to me because, as you know, I am from India but currently living in the US. Companies like Gap, they are headquartered in San Francisco, which is very close to where I live. However, there is zero production of Gap happening in San Francisco. Okay, all their production, manufacturing, supply chain, everything is happening outside of the US. Okay, so the way that I see it really working is, say, for example, we already know that India is one of the top manufacturers of cotton in the world, and Gap is using a lot of cotton to create their collections. And when they want to source from India, they have no idea which mill, which supplier will be the best, which is the most sustainable supplier to go to, who has the best quality of cotton, but with the most sustainable eco impactors. And when you're on a platform like Frontier and you built a digital library, it's very easy. You just take the digital library and embed it into your website with a single click, right? And now on your website, you will have all that data, your whole digital library, so that your clients, no matter where they are, they can easily source with the sustainability, physics, and texture maps to back up that sourcing decision. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. What we are really looking at in terms of a use case and application is to be the middleman between the suppliers and the brands. We know that the brands have a very high standard, and we want to help the suppliers reach that standard through digitization and connect the two so that you all have more clients and more business.
Anoushka, there's one more question from Ms. Trina. She said, is the AI able to suggest similar stock keeping units from a set of scan uploaded?
Yeah, okay. Ms. Trina, thank you so much for your question. Our public library currently has over 20,000 materials. I would really invite you to sign up and check out the materials in the digital public library for yourself. You will see all sorts of different fabrics and patterns and florals and stripes and all sorts of fabrics that I think would be very interesting for you to explore yourself. And Dr. Vijay, do you want to add anything to Ms. Trina's question since you are so familiar with the solution?
I think there is a what is it? Yeah. I think this what information we have about this AI capabilities of doing this possibility, and I'm sure, I think what he concerned, it will be definitely happening. We have to read.
You mean about the similarity search, right? Yeah. So, Ms. Trina, if you're basically looking for fabrics, right, and you're looking, say, for a checks fabric, and you're looking for a black and white checks, we have like a similarity search engine which would give you recommendations, and we even have like hashtags and like keywords that you can easily find recommended fabrics by.
Any other question? Yes. Does it declare?
I think we've covered a lot of questions today, but if anybody has any last minute questions, I'm going to ask Tammy to check one last time. Tammy, will you let me know if there are any questions here, or have we covered everything?
Yes, I think still have questions. Also, we listed on the document. You can write it down and.
Okay. I'll pick them up. Just give me a second. Okay. Oh, okay, I see them here. So we answered Ms. Trina Ganguly's question last, and Swatishri has a question as to data entry, which is completed. Dinesh wants to know color matching is possible with this technology. I hope the Pantone shade color explanation was sufficient for that. Vishwanathan. Okay, Vishwanathan has two questions. Does it declare any results for
past result
for other attributes? I'm going to have to kind of check on this, Vishwanathan. So if you can drop your email in the chat, let me get back to you on that. And your second question is, can we make the concerned person face directly to check the final appearance? Do you mean check the final appearance of the material? I'm not very clear on these questions. So please clarify if you're still here. Okay.
We can drop a mail for more clarity.
Yes, Vishwanathan, it would be amazing if we could connect on email. I'm happy to answer your questions, happy to give you a demo. So just connect with me on email. Mr. Nikhil says, sorry, everyone, as I have skipped an important part, can you please reconfirm which 4 data points of the fabric scan are required to create 3D fabric digital materials, including technical, physical parameters? Okay, Nikhil, the top 5 ones that I can think of at the top of my head is composition. So what is the composition of the fabric, cotton versus polyester? Does it have a mix of spandex in it, etc.? GSM, which is weight, yarn size, and density. So I believe these are the 4 parameters, but I can send you a list over email if this is an important concern of yours. Yeah, I think Dr. Vijay, we have actually completed all the questions.
Yeah, I think there is one more is there from Musa. I think
can you lay out the question, sir?
How does the digital model increase the efficiency of supply chain?
Okay. Musa, thank you for your compliment on a great presentation. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it. Okay, let me tell you again, I hope, when we try to kind of make this technology, it's because all our 3 founders basically come from a textile background and they work within the industry for over 20 years. Okay, so when we created this AI model and technology, it was to solve the problems that they were facing within the textile industry. Okay, so in terms of increasing the efficiency of the supply chain, we all know that the design and conception phase where you actually need to source for materials that fit your design collection is a long process. It's anywhere between 3 to 5 months, right? But just imagine a digital library full of fabrics, okay, where a designer can simply log on, use the search to basically search for whatever kind of fabric they're looking for, say 400 GSM floral fabric, chiffon, georgette, whatever they're looking for. The fabric easily comes up with all the data, right? And they can easily basically kind of source that material, okay? So as opposed to spending a lot of time on this process, and we all know fabric sourcing is pretty much the start of the production process, because without the material, you cannot kind of move forward, right? But our virtual material actually enables you to create the entire garment in CAD software like Browseware or Clo. So you now have the garment in a digital format that you can show your customers before it's even ever made in reality. And then once you know exactly which kind of design they are interested in, you quickly kind of move to just producing it, because you've already sourced the material. You already know which supplier you're going to kind of get the material from, and you know pricing, inventory, how long it's going to take, etc. So I hope that answers your question, Musa. If you have any further questions, please contact me at Anoushka@Frontier.cool. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. And I hope you had a very, very enjoyable evening with this presentation. And I would just like to take the opportunity again to thank the Textile Association of India for their kind support and just their partnership to kind of bring this amazing technology to the forefront. We're very, very appreciative of your time. And thank you, Dr. Vijay Gudmare, for being such a great partner to Frontier.cool and talking about our amazing technology in India. I'm very, very passionate about this market, and I hope that our technology can really help Indian suppliers and brands really increase their revenue, their income, their clients in India, but also internationally. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you all for being attention.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for joining.
Okay, bye-bye.
you everyone for participating in this wonderful webinar. Thanks to Anoushka. Really wonderful. I hope people have got some
Thank you,
new
everyone.
concept.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Enjoy this video.
Have a good evening.